Hi everyone, welcome back to Southeast Exotics. Today we're going to be doing a rehousing video and going through the basics that you need to know to rehouse a tarantula. That can be arboreal or terrestrial, it doesn't make a difference. The only problem with terrestrials is that they're just more hardy and a lot more difficult to rehouse. So first of all, we're just going to go through the basics that you need for this rehouse to be successful. So first of all, you're going to need yourself a catch cup. This can be any sort of plastic that is big or bigger as the tarantula. If you want it to be more safe for you, then I'd go for a bigger fit. But that's the first thing that you need. Then you need a paintbrush. A paintbrush is really important for nudging the spider along, just to make sure that the spider doesn't get hurt. So it can be anything soft. It doesn't have to completely be a paintbrush. It could be anything. But it needs to be really blunt on the end and soft. Because what a lot of people do as a mistake, they poke the tarantula with something sharp like tweezers, and then they can hurt them, they can pop their abdomen. There's a lot of things that could go wrong. But that's the first thing that you 100% need as well, is a paintbrush. And then after, you just need some type of tweezers. They can be big, they can be small, it doesn't really matter. The only reason you need this is to be able to take out something out of the enclosure. That could be the hide, the water dish. We have already removed the water dish from the tarantula's enclosure, and we have already put it in the new one, so we won't be needing the tweezers. But if you haven't, then you will 100% be needing a pair of tweezers. This is basically about it for a rehousing. Then you of course need your new enclosure. You need the hide, if you're not going to be using the same one as in the other spider's enclosure, which I'm guessing you won't be, because that's why you're moving it, because he's a lot bigger. So that's basically all you need. But here he is. This is the spider that we're going to be rehousing today. He's a salmon pink bird eater. I've had him for a few months now. I've had him since he was a very, very small sling. But now he's a juvenile now, and as you can see, he's in heavy pre-molt here. Right there you can see he's got like a little like heart shape to his abdomen where he is molting. So that is basically around how it needs to be. But it won't, he's not on a very, very heavy pre-molt because it's not a shiny black. The abdomen needs to have this shiny black look to it there to make sure that he's pre-molt or anything. The other reason why we're doing this rehouse today and not in the next molt is because he doesn't really have anywhere to molt. Because when tarantulas molt, they flip on their backs and then they pull their cells out of their old shell. Now the problem with this enclosure is it was good until now. He could molt, do anything he wanted, but now he can't really molt anymore, because if he would flip, he would either put his back onto the cork bark or he would molt there probably, but none of it is perfect enough. So we're going to close him up. I also wanted to give you guys a update on our new slings that we got last video. Here they are. One of them actually molted. The Tigerina actually molted this one here, as you can see. She's a lot more bigger now. A lot bigger. Just bring the light closer. There she is. I feel like she's reaching around 2 centimeters now, give or take. It was feeding day yesterday for all of the tarantulas, but sadly she could have not been fed because she molted and her fangs haven't been regenerated. If you didn't know, when tarantulas molt, it's best to not feed them, especially adults. It's best not to feed them for around a week, 3-4 days, because they need to regenerate their fangs. And if they can't do that, then when the prey goes in, they can't catch it, and they can damage their mouth in a way, and their teeth. And the crickets can cause harm to it as well. So yeah. So here's the Cambridgei. He's a lot smaller than the other one. Still hasn't molted yet. So there he is. You can't really see him that well, and I've tried opening it up, but you can't really see him, and he just goes away. So that's basically them two as an update. The thing that I also wanted to tell you guys is that we bought some new spiders from the spider shop for Friday's video. We bought some juveniles. We bought one juvenile sun tiger, and we also bought a small white white knee. So we have all the enclosures set up already for Friday's video. So as you can see, this is a great example for a spiderling. It's around 1 to 2 centimeters. You probably won't have to worry about rehousing them until they get about that big. So, and then after, you're going to have to move them. I would say go straight to something like this. Well, maybe after they're like 4 centimeters, just chuck them in something like that, and then they'll be fine until they get about that big. And then for the sun tiger, because he is 4 to 6 centimeters, so they're probably going to send me a 6 centimeter because they always send me the biggest ones they have. This is the enclosure. You can't even, doesn't even really fit in the camera. It's not that big. It's just more tall. So he's got ventilations on the top, of course, and on the sides, because that's what you need for a terrestrial. So if you're doing a terrestrial spider, this is what you'd be looking for. It's got a cork book at the back, so we're going to be able to keep an eye on him always and get great feeding clips. And then it's also got a look at the top. That's good, just in case, you know, he just thinks like, you know what, I'm just going to be a pain in the ass and I'm just going to run away. That's basically what that's good for. So the cage that we're going to be putting for a rehouse is going to be this one here. This is the one that we're going to be rehousing him. We already put the soil in. We used our what we always use, Spider Life. We used a whole litre bag for this one. With terrestrials, you have to make sure that it's around 3 to 4 centimeters, 5-ish, so they can dig and they can hide, and you also need enough room to bury their hides and etc. So basically, with this enclosure, I really like these enclosures. We just found them on Amazon. I'm just gonna link them down below if you wanna get any of them. So here's the terrestrial one. We used the same substrate for every single one of our tarantulas, just because every single one of our tarantulas is kind of liable to a good humidified enclosure. As you can see, we also sprayed the cage right beforehand. But basically what the substrate is really good at is holding humidity. It's amazing. I've tried cocoa bark, I've tried honestly everything. Nothing worked as well as Spider Life. It's really cheap as well. It's around £3 for a bag of 1 litre, or you can buy a 10 litre for around £10 on Amazon. So basically this is the whole setup. We're just going to be putting back his water dish that he never drinks out of. He just always fills it up with mud or anything he can find, or tip it over mainly. And then we're going to be using this hide here. So it's crucial to use a hide when when you have a terrestrial species, because they can either start making loads of holes in your enclosure and they're going to be digging around, but for a spider that big, he's probably just going to be staying under the cork bark, minding his own business, and then just getting fed every once a week. That's basically what they do. So with a hide, you just need to make sure that it's firmly in, and you need to put some substrate on it so it doesn't fall on the spider and it's securely in, because the last thing that you want is your spider getting suffocated by substrate or even by that falling onto it. So make sure that you put a little hole in as well to make sure that the spider can hide. I always start off like a little starter burrow on the side there, as you can see. It's probably not gonna do that, but I always do that just in case if it's feeling like, you know what, I want to make an underground tunnel. But yeah, so that is basically it for the whole enclosure. That is all you need for a terrestrial species. Terrestrials are probably one of the easiest to keep on the whole market, especially this one, pink bird eater. The pink bird eater is always recommended the best tarantula for the first tarantula because they're so easy and so hard to take care of. They just mind their own business. They're not vicious, they're not violent, they're not aggressive, they're slow. So they're honestly perfect. So the way I like to do this is just by moving him. I'm just gonna open the enclosure and I'm just gonna grab the paintbrush and I'm just gonna poke him to the other side. Now hopefully this goes as well as I planned. There we go. And he's just walking slowly up. There we go. Just slowly, all the way up. There you go. As you can see, they are honestly the slowest tarantula ever. You could honestly handle them as well. I have never handled tarantulas because I just don't want to get bitten by their fangs, and that can be terrestrial, that can be arboreal. I'm just not really feeling to get bitten. I actually have two of these. I've got a bigger one, then I have this smaller one. So as you can see, that was literally it. Really slow, really quick process, really easy in a way, and that is literally all you need to do. And there he is. He's enjoying his new home already. He's probably going to go under that cork bark. But yeah, that is honestly as simple as it gets. The one thing that you need to just be careful of, I don't know, I don't think some pink bird eaters do it, but you just need to be careful of their urticating hairs because they do kick it at you once you start poking them around. As you can see, there is actually some on the paintbrush. Let's just lock this before he starts coming out. So that's it. So I'm just trying to show you if you can see it. You see on the paintbrush there's some urticating hairs, right? That is something you want to stay out of and stay as far away from as possible, because basically what that happens is that goes really, really deep into your skin, and then you're going to be scratching for a long time before it actually clears out. But that is honestly as simple as it gets. It doesn't get any more difficult as long as you're doing it with terrestrials. And even with some of the terrestrials, like the African Asian species, you don't want to be doing, you have to be really careful with what I just did now with this procedure, because they are quick and they'll literally be on the other side of your room before you even blink, because they're lightning fast. We're going to be doing a rehousing and an unboxing on Friday with the sun tiger. Now that one is quicker than other tarantulas, and then I'll demonstrate what you could do in that circumstance. But honestly, that is basically all you need to do with it. That's literally as simple as it gets. And there he is now. I love these cages because they're so transparent and you can honestly see them in every way. So honestly, that was basically it for this video. It's very simple, it's very hardy. You can honestly rehouse, especially a pink sound birdie, to any time, anywhere. So honestly, that was it for this video. If you liked it, comment something, like, subscribe, and then we'll see you on Friday's video with an unboxing from the Spider Shop and new additions. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you again on Friday. Bye bye.